Welcome to our course, and we're starting now. So, the quick intro. So, on this week one, we're going to go through the advanced usage of Integromat itself, and then we're going to move to API. And after it, we'll do the application in the custom application inside the Integromat. But before all of this, we have to recap our knowledge about the Integromat and basically how to use it properly. Okay, so we're going to recap and quickly cover all our, how does it call, like white spaces, what exactly you do not know about Integromat, what you don't understand in Integromat. We will start with super basic stuff, but what I need from you is to understand this stuff. So, some things like functions, and we have a lot of functions, we have a lot of approaches, a lot of tricks, so on and so forth. So you can't technically exactly remember everything from it, but some things like basic stuff, like the general knowledge, you have to understand and know exactly how to do it and remember all the time. So we'll start from this basic, because you literally must know how to do it. Okay, so we're starting with general meaning of the scenario. For this, I will open the new scenario, or basically existing one. Doesn't really matter. So as you know, I hope you know, like every scenario, it's a JSON. Okay, so all of this, these modules, links, settings, filters, this basically one JSON file where described all the settings for our scenario. So if you will click onto export the blueprint, this blueprint will be the JSON file. So if we will open it real quick, we will see what the scenario means and what included in the scenario. We also have this blueprint structure in our docs, and you will basically got the links on this inside the file. I'll share this file a little bit later. So this one, the docs Integromat blueprint structure, and here basically described all the structure of this scenario. You probably won't use it right away. So basically, this is the blueprint description. So here we go. This is our blueprint. This is our scenario, right? And what you need to understand that you can manage and change the structure of your scenario, and in super close future, we will be able to use the Integromat API, which not released yet. It's not public, and probably not fully completed, but in following months it will be public, and you will be able to use it to basically aggregate your scenario kind of on the fly, right, live. So you will be able automatically aggregate your scenario. So this is a description of the scenario blueprint, and you can literally see each line explained here. We won't be going super deep right now. I'm just want to show you the base, so you to understand how it literally works. So this is the scenario name, the blueprint version, and basically array of modules. And each module has own structure, own settings. We basically spoke about the scenario itself and the main thing you need to know about the Integromat usage. So there are several things like functions, like custom applications, tricks, tips. You can technically know and remember everything, but there are some base which you must know and remember in the day or in the night, whatever, because without it you won't be able to understand the general things, and you will spend a lot of time to troubleshooting and making some changes which you literally can do in a second. Okay, so again, the scenario, it's a piece of the JSON. When you import or export it, you will get the JSON file, which you can open in any text editor. I use the Visual Code Studio with a plugin for Integromat because we'll build application on it. This is our SDK. You can use literally any text editor for it. And our scenario, it's just a piece of a JSON. This is explained here. We have the description and documentation for the structure of our blueprint, where you can actually make the changes. So for example, the module ID, you can easily change it if you have the scenario and you replaced module or did something and you need to update the number of the module, which is not possible with a standard functionality. You can do it with a JSON. So you just open the module, the JSON. You're looking for a number of your module. Then probably it's not the best example what I just did with it. Okay, I will repeat it. I will add the new module. The one thing I will also mention, it's how to place the modules inside the connection or links or chains. If you will drag and drop, you will always be before the filter, so you will need automatically manually rebuild your filter, right? Because you can't clone the filter or easily drag and drop it. So to put the module after the filter, you have to do it manually with a right click and add the module, data structure for data store, for example, and update the record. So as you see, this module got number 36 now. So if I export my blueprint, we'll open it with our code editor. Oh, my code runner started. I'll explain you why, because we have super big JSON here, and that's why it takes literally like 5-10 minutes to start. This is another text or programming tool. You may use any you like. I use Code Runner because it's included in my set of apps. I just forgot how it calls. And I use the Visual Code Studio. So you can use just Visual Code Studio and forget about everything else. Okay, so my module has a number 36. So I'm looking for the 36. So this is, as you see, it's a flow. It's kind of structure of the module itself. And here the module description. So ID, module name, it's a data store, update, record, blah, blah, blah. It also should have a kind of label for it, but it's not so important for us. So we will replace that 36 with a 10, which we, for example, need, right? Then we save it, and we just need to import our blueprint to update our scenario. Literally, we importing the scenario, right? So done, and our module now has number 10. As you need, because you might have like 10, 20, whatever million modules after it, which already map it, and it's hard to do it. You can actually use the dev tool for it, but it's sometimes not super convenient. So this is like a several option to do it. For those of you who don't know what the dev tool is, it's a Chrome plugin which allows you to do some advanced options. Wow, we got the migration.js. I haven't seen it yet. It's good, and I hope, really hope, we will do something similar. I just saw this migration. This is probably today's update. I haven't seen it in a Slack even. So this will probably help us migrate from V1 to V2, which is super great because with a Google Sheet it's terrible. Usually you may use the swap app or something. The swap variable, swap connection, this is similar options. We may use the copy mapping, for example, so where again, when you change something, you may select the one module, target module, and literally copy the mapping. Similar thing you can do with the copy filters. Swap, you can swap variables, swap applications, swap connections. But today we won't cover the dev tool. This will be the different video. Okay, so speaking about the variables, let me see if everyone connected. This is first webinar, so I apologize if something won't go super smoothly as you want or dream it of. We will improve it. By the way, we spoke about the variable. So the variable itself. Hope many of you know how the variable is structured and what variable is. So if you will copy paste it, I usually use the Just Chrome search bar for it. It's super convenient, and which important, it does not grab additional data in the buffer. So if you copy something from here, like literally everything, we can do the same. Super similar, right? The one lot, it should be the variable one with the lot, and if we copy it here, it might add this thing. So you might notice it before. That's just because of, you know, Windows, Mac, whatever, copy paste buffer action. So text editor adds some description. It's literally like kind of HTML piece, right? You see the paragraph, P1, the merging, and the font size and the font type. But for us, it's a terrible thing because you always need to remove it. In most of the modules, it's super important to not have the spaces, extra lines, so on and so forth. But literally, you see, it's the same thing. So that's why I usually use for variable constructions and changes just the search bar. And what I usually do, if you need to remap or some complex filter, so if you need to make changes, yeah, it was actually outgoing. Yeah, these I remember have super filters. This one, yeah. So this as example, an example of a filter, and as you see, I literally had to copy all these filters. Like I built one route here, and I had to duplicate this all the way down, and we just need to change the number of the module because the previous one doesn't. The previous structure doesn't change. We have the same module, same everything. We just change this module, which is incoming email. So what I did, I copy pasted into any text editor. And for example, I need to put it for this module. So 63, we know that this module has a number 63. So what we're doing, we going to replace our, we're checking what the module was it. I copied from here, right? So it was 11. It was 17, right? CC, yeah, the 17. So I simply need to change 17 to 63. Replace all. And then just copy paste it. So this should make the trick, but as you see, we have this shitty thing with our merging, so we have to literally, it's sometimes, and most of the times with the function, it's super inconvenient to move the cursor. Hopefully it will be changed. We have some extra something, you see, like it's super terrible. So what I usually do, I'm grabbing this one, just copy paste in our search bar. I call it normalization or whatever, but this one will give us perfect thing for our filter. So as you see, we don't have any spaces because the search bar automatically cuts all rest shitty stuff. Okay, that's also kind of trick. Important thing here, it's a variable. Okay, so when we working with variables, you have to remember the structure of variable. I created this short description for it. So that's basically our variable. So as you see the number here, so any function and any variable, any keyword works with this, we call it double mustaches or double curly brackets. And this literally allow system to understand that this one will be not the text. By default, each field has an option to keep the text or variables or functions or keywords. Okay, so if you literally need to input any keyword, let's say space, so if you will just type space, you will get nothing. But using this double mustaches, you will get the keyword. Same thing will be for like UIDI or now variable. So you can do it with this double mustaches. Same thing for variables. So as soon as you type double mustaches number of the module, let's do it somewhere here to have more modules. Okay, so for example, I want to build the variable for this data store for number 7. So I just need to use 7 dot and anything else. If we'll put just something new var, it will be not active, so it will be not filled, but it will have the color of this module automatically. Okay, so as you see, we got this variable, and this just for general understanding of our thing. We need to know this because the most important issue, the most important error, it's not issue, it's not error. People simply don't understand and don't know how to correctly work with the variables. So what happens when you're fetching some complex structure? Let's try to do it on email example. Let me grab some. Okay, let's do new scenario for it, or let's get something. Yeah, I should have something in here. The wave might be even super good. Let me think. Yeah, the wave will be good example because it will be super unfamiliar structure for you. This is probably one of the lastest application I built. Let me see, the watch invoices probably will be correct. No, okay, let's pull 2 invoices. To see how it works. Not really. Yeah, this was actually the first error of any customer, because the watch module, as you hope, I really hope you know that watch module returns only newly created or newly updated entities. This is what we will cover when we will create actually watch modules, and I will explain you. If you don't know, you will be able to see it like on your own eyes. Okay, so this is what we've got. This is the data, right? This is structure. And what we have here, we have the names of our variables. So what I can do right now, I can build any variable by myself. So you literally will need it, because sometimes you won't be able to get the variable from templates, because it might be because of the interface, the module interface issue, typos, or you simply won't be able to get some item from array, which is most common case, right? So for example, these items, this is an array, and you not, for example, you won't be able to see some variable from this one, right? Let's assume we have items in here. This is invoice, right? We have items in it, and let's assume one of our item has different structure. So let's say one has some description or so, and another doesn't have it, or the product name or whatever changed. So you should be able to know and understand how to literally build this variable by itself. For this, I will just copy one of the variables and open it here. So this is what you will literally see. Here, it's super important to know and understand what means the row name and the thing you literally see. For this, I will open and show you the module itself. So this is our watch invoices module, and that's how module look like from the kind of backend, right? So this is what we will cover on the week number 3 when we will create their own applications. So this is our wave. Oh, cool. Need to check it out. And this is our watch invoices module. Okay, so each module has several sections for settings, and we are interested in interface. So this is the answer why you might not see some variables without running that scenario. Okay, so how it literally works: we getting some data, we parsing it using this interface section. So each of our variable has to be described by this interface section. So let's say we use this items product description. Okay, let's try to find the way to this, the path to this items product description in our interface. I will just use description. Yeah, so this is how it goes. We have some example or sample, right? This is basically the raw data we received in the module. Output here. So this is important section we recently added. This is raw data, and you always have to use this as a reference, because the thing you see here, especially the thing you see here, might not be exactly correct. And that's why. Because our interface literally in some cases might not be exactly created for particular structure, because the structure might change. Okay, you pull in some items, you pull in some, I don't know, like deals in CRM, you pull some contacts or whatever. It might have some custom field which we can't literally predict upfront, and that's why system will parse it automatically, and you might not get exactly exact path to it, and you might not see it. So how it literally happens: again, we getting the data, right? We parsing it, and we also can be in sometimes I'm not sure for 100% here. For this, we may use the Integromat, right, and the scenario debugger for the module. So if you open this one, you will see some data. I usually use the console, but I'm not really sure if it will be available in your accounts for all of you. We may check it later. I just want to show you the reference. So this is what we've got from the Wave API. This is our first invoice, and we literally work with the only node with this part. And this our item, and this is our product and our product description. Okay, so as you see, it has this structure, and then we use our interface to parse it, and I hope you will understand it. Okay, so this is what I do to build the structure, and it's relatively simple. So you literally grabbing the simple of receiving data just from here. The output is a raw data. It's the same thing. It's the same thing that you see here, but it processed because we are referencing the only node. We starting from here. So 1 hour, 1 bundle on output. It will be 1 node, means 1 invoice. This is not important for you right now. You have to understand that we work with this node. We have 7 edges. Each edge has a node, and we use this one. This is our invoice data we received from the API. This is the same thing. You just see it in the JSON format, not in the format which shows the Chrome. Okay, I can even drag this here. Okay, so we got the data, and this is raw data. From here comes meaning of row names. So when we speak about row names, we always have to reference either console thing or data from here. Okay, so because when we build in the interface, we in most of the times use the generator for it, either generated right inside module builder here. So this is the generator for our JSON, and it generates the structure. So exactly this structure we have into interface. Okay, so this is what I usually do when I build the modules. Sometimes I use the SDK in the Visual Code Studio because it's more convenient. It adds labels. This generator doesn't have labels, so we have to build it manually. So when I generate it, as you see, we have the only name and a type for each of variable. This one allows us to have the labels also, and they will be uppercase or start cases. I'm really sorry if it looks like some kind of bullshit right now for you, but it's super important to start from, kind of from a scratch. So you need to see it just right from backend. You're not regular users anymore of Integromat, because you will build the modules, and we call it advanced way, right? Advanced course. So this is same. This is my modules. This is plugin we use for it's kind of our SDK. So this is the modules. I'm going to show you just aggregators. So same watch invoices module interface. This is same thing you see here. Same section. So communication, epoch, static parameters interface. Same thing. And the aggregator. So we use this aggregator to aggregate the structure. So this structure aggregated, and as you see, it has labels, and it labels it correctly. You see like amount paid, and it was processed with these capital letters. So you can literally grab this one, copy it, and paste in your interface, just like this. So we just kind of build the interface, and now what is important right now, when our system will receive the data in a module, it will be processed, and on output you will see this nicey and shiny amount paid, right? It's capital amount paid, and it's not amount paid, which you literally see here, right? It's different. This is the difference which cause some types of error when you build a variable. So that's why we always have to reference the row name of variables. So this row name you can get either from here, which most useful and fastest way, just input output bundles, or from a console, or from API documentation. It's up to you. Because as you see, we structuring, it's kind of simple, like each variable or each structure has several important parameters. It's a name, type, and a label. Label is optional actually. If you won't have a label, it will be taken just from name. Okay. But that's what the module will return. So when you building the variable, we finally got to this point, right? You need to use row names. Row names from output. So if I need to get a description, you will literally see how it works. Like we have kind of root folder or whatever it calls. I just changed it. Okay, so we have items. This is the first thing which goes after our module number. Okay, so module number dot items. Then our items, it's an array. So we have to put the square brackets here because this is array. Because of this is the first item, in here we don't have any notation. In Integromat we usually counting from 1, and in JavaScript and most of the languages usually it starts from 0. So array items, or the first array items, it's a 0, it's not 1. We will recap this just in several minutes. So we have number of the module, we have items, which is array in here, right? Then we go into product, and inside of our product we have a description. So if you will need, for example, build the variable for normal balance type, in here you literally need to replace some part of existing variable. So we will have same module, right? We have same items array. We will have the account, and we will have the normal balance type. Copy, paste. Since our module just got the data, it will be showing here as active, as filled. And as you see, the system automatically changed this for 1. This is number of items. If I will put 2, we will reference the item number 2, means the product number 2, which actually not exist in this particular case, but we might have several of them, right? And here we come with the main error, main mistake the customer usually makes. So how it works, the customer start with opening the module and starting to build the references, mapping the modules. So what you usually need to do, you need to either know the structure of your API properly, or run scenario first, then map the variables. Because usually, in most cases, right now it might, So as you see, it remembers the structure, and this is another trick you need to remember. If something happens with your structure, you're not really sure this is correct something, and you want to reset it, remove it, and start from scratch, which will literally see your customer when it first opened the module in particular scenario. We have this local storage. The local storage is a place where I keep the settings for these modules and the data. I really believe this is here, yeah. So if I will remove the local storage, just backspace, or I don't know how you call this key, and reload my scenario, the browser itself won't remember anything. So same thing will happen if you will just add the new module. No, it's not here. Let me quickly double check. It should be in local storage. It's weird. Okay, not the case. I usually, but it has to be in local storage. Let's just disregard this one. Let's just add the new watch module to simulate. So watch invoices, new module. This will simulate the same case, right? So when you just starting with a new something, you have selected something, and when you just open the thing, oh yeah, actually I was right. I have noticed the data. So this basically, this one, this is not real data. This is data from a sample. Okay, so I apologize for misleading, and if you not get it yet, I'll explain you again. So when you open the module, this our module itself. So we have a sample. That's why many people make this mistake. We have a sample of some data, right? So this is my sample. I used to build this variable. You see this name, test prod, unit price 10, name the test, the value is 1000, whatever. And the same thing you see in here. So we use this to generate the variables for you. Because when you first time creating the scenario, when you first time adding the module, we can literally predict the data, right? So we use this standard template to build variables for you. And here, where the situation where many customers make this mistake, they start to use these variables, and it's kind of logically, right? So this is what you do. You start to build the variables, but in fact, your API, your structure may have something different. And that's why you always need to pull the data first. If it's a watch module, use the right button, or any other module, you simply may run it to get the real data. To see it, right? So this is test product 1, 2, 3, 4. This is LED bulb, so on and so forth. And it has different values from now, right? In this particular case, it might be similar. Here, this is the perfect example. This is probably my bad. So you see, this is it shows collection. It shows collection, and what it means if I open taxes here, Oh, we don't, yeah, we have the taxes, yeah, and taxes is array. Yeah, this is perfect example to work with. I will fix it, this issue right now, but this is what you might face, right? So you open the module, you see these items, you see taxes, and you need really literally get the taxes, right? The row value, for example, for taxes. Since module itself does not have proper interface for taxes, it's actually in items, total, and yeah, here. So it's even named in different way array because in our sample it was just empty. So generator generated the empty array because the value of it was just curly brackets, right? This would return the API first because I haven't had the taxes. So I aggregated this, I generated the template, and my system now, the module, right, will parse it as an array, and because it's a collection, in fact, the output of the module here will be correct. Okay, so you will have the data. You may notice they are lowercase, means we not process it, we not rename it, and these are literally row names. But when you will try to open it, even with a pooling of actual data, whatever, will get this one. So you literally can't do it, right? This is perfect example on how you need to behave in this particular case. So we literally building the variable. To simplify the process, you may get the closest one, even taxes, right? Just copy paste it, open the output, and get to this place, and now we're checking. So we have items, we have taxes, right? The taxes will be array, not collection, so we have to add square brackets, dot, and now we're going to amount and row. That's it. So that's what you need to use, amount and then row, to get this value. And now just copy paste in any module you want. Let's just unlink it. Not get. Let's use set variable. Place it here. It's not active right now because system literally doesn't even know that this one exists, right? So this is not active. And this is another thing to remember. It might work. Okay, it might work even if it's not active, because in this particular case, the system has an issue, right? It's not structured properly in our interface. So if I will run it again, it will give me the correct value. Oh. So we got 100 and 100. That's probably because it's the same for both of our products. What's amount and row, right? So this is an example how you work with the construction of custom variables. Let's call it like this. Okay, so what I changed, I actually can't literally get the row value at all. Like, I can't, because this variable is not reachable from here. Even if I pull the real data, it's not reachable anymore. The code of what? up here with this one, this code, you mean? This code of the variable, items, taxes, amount, row. This is the variable we just built. This is the idea that you have to do it by yourself. You have to understand how it works. We start with a double brackets or double mustaches, then goes number of the module, and we use dot notations. What to add or change? Yeah, so this is what we do. So you open the output of the module and you see your real data, right? So this is data came from the API. You may check it with the console if it's possible, because it's not possible sometimes for some modules. Okay, so this is, again, this is an example, but you literally have even better view here. So node, ID, item, product, taxes, amount, row. Yeah, and actually one trick here, what you can do, you can copy the property path just with this click. If you able to get the console value, okay, this will give you the full path, but you need to understand that we're working with the items only, so this might not only confuse you a little bit, but it will be correct thing. Again, here you see the zeros, which I might confuse you a little bit, but the rest will be the same. Items, taxes, amount, row. But what I recommend you to do, just work with this one, which much more faster, not probably faster, but more reliable, and you see it in proper way. So this is what we will cover with the structures. When you work with the array, so every time when you work with a collection or array, you use dot notation. Okay, so you have this collection. Collection calls account, and or in our case sale taxes, right? Oh, we work with a row. Okay, so amount, it's a collection. This is a collection, right? So amount, this is collection, and to get the row from this amount, you have to use dot notation. For collections and for arrays, we use dot notations. The only thing which is different for array, you use these square brackets to provide the number of the item, the order of the item you want to get. So if you want to get first item, you use either empty or number one. Again, this is for Integromat. Usually in JavaScript, you're starting from a 0. It's not a super big deal, but you have to remember it. This is how it should work. Again, we start with a number of double mustaches, number of the module, and going with a dot notation. So number of the module, dot. Then you go all the way up to start of your structure. We starting with the items. So you see these are on all the same level, like ID, amount, created, modified, total, status, items. So we starting with the items. Because the items, this is array, this is not a collection, this is array of collection. This is array of items which might include several products in this particular invoice. So we start with the items, going down, one level down, inside of this collection. It's actually nameless collection, it doesn't have a name. Inside of it we have taxes, which are also array. So we're adding another square brackets, another dot. To go deeper, we go to amount, we have a dot here again, and we go into Well, it's totally same thing what you see in your, how does it call in the Windows? My Documents, Desktop, your folder, blah blah blah. But instead of using slashes, we use dot notation. Totally same thing. This one for folder or whatever, you might logically or kind of so replace with a double mustaches. It's a totally same logic, but we use the slashes. Oh, we use, I apologize, we use the dots instead of slashes. And we have the number of the module. So hopefully this analogy will help you to understand the thing.